I'm Harri Koskela.
And I'm Anneli.
And we're from the theatrical metal band Lost in Grey, and you're watching Tuonela magazine.
Lost in Grey is a theatrical metal band, and we started in 2013. Our debut album, The Grey Realms, was published in 2017, and our sophomore album, The Wasteland, will be out January 11th, 2019.
I think first of all it was the whole procedure of making it. This was in a lot shorter period of time and
Composed.
composed and recorded. So, and I think overall the songs kind of how do you say it? Pieces are better in place.
There may be more, like one song has one main theme and the whole is thus more coherent, as in the first album was made during a long period, during many years, and we were kind of still searching for our sound and our story. So, but now we already knew what we are about, so it was a lot smoother to...
Yeah, and it made the composing a lot easier too, because you know what kind of elements you have to play with. So.
Yeah, for example, because the theatrical metal aspect comes with us singing as characters. There are three main characters: Lillian, Odessa, and Patrick. And they have their own personalities and histories and so on. So, for example, that was one of the things we were developing during the first album, and now when we were making the second album, we already knew kind of which character has what kind of style and so on. One way of looking at this album is that we kind of travel backwards in time, because the first album, the first song on it, there's a line where the narrator is asking Lillian, what did you see, what did you know, what made you retreat, abandon it all? And this album sort of answers those questions as well, so what Lillian saw and thought, or then it can be seen as discussions that are going on in the present, just like the characters would be sitting by a bonfire and talking about how they think and feel. But pretty much that's maybe the reason there's a lot of kind of anger and sadness, because it's kind of the bad things Lillian wanted to escape. But I think there are also elements of hope, so it's not only gloomy. I don't know, maybe for some it's a bit melodramatic even or something, but for us it's fun to kind of go 110% and be like as jumpy and wild as we can.
Flamboyant.
Yeah,
like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Those metal.
as many actors do, they might pick something from their own way of being, or just observe other people on the street and pick some parts from them. So,
but yeah, also there's certain lines or opinions that might not be our personal opinions, but those are the characters' opinions. So.
the process in the sense that usually Harri is the one composing and I write the lyrics and kind of plan the story. And for example, with the first album, there were just these instrumental demos that Harry played to me, and I kind of got the vibe from them, what I started then to write about. For this album, I already had some ideas kind of how the story should develop and what kind of elements I would want to bring to it. So some songs I already had the text ready in advance, and Harry would compose the song or music to them, and then also the other way around, that there was the composing and then I tried to put my ideas into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really fast and smooth. We went for the drum recordings in March, mid-March, somewhere there, and the whole thing was mixed and mastered by July 4th, I think. So a short period of time, a lot of work, but fun. For me, because I record most of the parts too, as an engineer, so I think this was something kind of new for me too, because it was so hectic and fast. So I think overall it was an interesting process, so to say, but really fun.
Well, it's always fun to work with creative people and not just stay like in the schoolyard. You would have this one small group just playing with each other, but it's more fun to play with more people.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason why we wanted to have other people on our album as well. And then, for example, the collaboration with Lill from Elvalon, that was our label contacts who suggested this collaboration, and I really love her voice, so I was just excited, like, ooh, new things to put into the songs. The Wasteland, which is the title track of the album, that kind of sets the atmosphere, and it's about not being able to express one's thoughts and emotions, or not being heard, or just ignored. Then the second single, Far Beyond and Further, is about exploration and exploitation. And then the third single, what was it called? Expectations, the one Neil is on. That's about being labeled and sort of categorized. The world, obviously. Also, I like to spice up things from literature. For example, on this album, I'm taking small pieces from this poem, The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. Not that I would use it as reference directly, but kind of because they are with the same name, so it's kind of fun to add some spice here and there from that poem as well. Well, I would have to read a few more analyses of the poem first to be sure. But what I know from the poem when I read it, that there are also several different voices speaking, and they're not always highlighted that the person switches. So the multiple voices are at least something similar.
Rocks.
Rocks and sand.
Yeah. I think if it's up to Anne, we won't be ever again doing
No, but that was
No.
just the chorus. When I heard the instrumental version, it kind of shouted to me that the chorus must be in Finnish. And when I wrote that, it was like, okay, what am I going to do with verses? So then just the whole song was suddenly in Finnish, and I've been trying to translate it into English as well, but I haven't succeeded yet very well. But it was kind of something that happened in the moment, and it wasn't planned, and I don't plan to write anytime soon more in Finnish.
But yeah, it could happen on the next album.
Well, it's a creative process. You never know.
Yeah, I think that was the most fun thing about working on this album. We just kind of went with the flow and feeling on the moment. So, like with that Lahuksen katoa, so basically that, it's going to be in Finnish. Let's do it.
Well, it all started from Harri having this idea of a 3-song EP, which I was supposed to plan the visuals for, the photography and cinematography, but then instead I got all these other ideas and suddenly we had a band.
That's weird.
Yeah, so the visual has kind of been there all along.
Yeah, from the very beginning, because at least for me, it's one part of the whole thing.
Yeah, and I maybe it's my background as a photographer that also these emotions also get this kind of visual landscape, or I portray them in that way, so that's sort of natural for me then.
Yeah, we're gonna have a release show in our hometown, Tuonela, on the 11th of January in Crafters Bar. Be there. Lots of good beers and maybe some well-played music too. And
Yeah, it's going to be a really special show. We're going to play the album
yeah, as a
through.
whole, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least we're trying to do maybe another Finnish show. But and we're planning on some touring things in Europe too, but nothing certain yet. We will see.
Well, I sometimes feel that entertainment is sort of fast food, and in Finnish we say kertakäyttötavaraa. I'm not sure what the English word would be, but you kind of use it once and throw it away. And I kind of hope that we could be able to make music that would last, and that you would maybe have to chew on a little bit longer, but then you would also enjoy it for a lot longer, and each time you listen to the album you could find some new elements there. So that's what I hope we are able to do.